Welcome everyone to this very special weekend edition of After the Bell. It is Grand Prix weekend here in Long Beach. No, I'm not in Grand Prix stuff because I didn't plan that far in advance, I'll be honest with you. But we are at the Long Beach Grand Prix in theory right now, because you're watching this probably later in the day. You're not watching this at midnight or whenever it's going up, because y'all have better brains than that, I would hope. But it's Grand Prix weekend here in Long Beach. It's crazy, it's busy, it's a lot of fun. A lot of the drivers on the streets here by the apartment think it's Grand Prix weekend up here too, so they're driving about 100 miles an hour past us. We're trying to walk to the bus. It's fun. But I have come to you because, well, there were a few Twitter questions I didn't get to on Monday, and there were some other YouTube questions I didn't get to on Monday. So I figured, you know what the hey, let's go ahead and bang them out this weekend, and let's see what happens the rest of the week. We'll go ahead and get to those questions Monday, but for now I've got three from Twitter, excuse me. Two of them from the same guy. Our old pal George Cushney. If I'm getting your name wrong, George, let me know, because Lord knows I hate getting names wrong, and I apologize vehemently for that, very much so. So let me go ahead and say that now, George. His first question was, how will WWE build new main eventers when they rely on the same faces, Cena, Orton, Triple H, Undertaker, or older guys, Rock, Brock, to sell pay-per-views? I'm not crapping on WWE, just want to know what you think. That does seem to be the trend the last, let's say 5 years or so. You've got Triple H, Orton, and John Cena in the storyline, the main storyline picture. Undertaker's always a part of the World Championship picture, or the main storyline picture. And in the last year and a half, The Rock has been back, and in the last 2 weeks, Brock Lesnar has made himself well known after being gone for almost a decade, if you can believe that. 8 years Brock left the WWE. I don't think it's a bad thing to bring back guys like The Rock, guys like Brock Lesnar. I know you're going to be like, you were swinging from John's nuts, bagging on The Rock for 6 months. I will never ever deny the star power of Dwayne Johnson. I'll never ever deny the charisma that The Rock brings to the WWE television set. I will never ever deny that, and he brings in numbers. I cannot wait to see the buy rate for WrestleMania, because between that and End of an Era, with Undertaker Triple H, by the way, it's bound to be astounding. I dare say it outdoes last year, because last year's was just, the build was bad last year, and I dare say delivery was far worse last year than the build-up, because the build-up was bad, but it was decent compared to the actual execution. This year, the build-up was sick, and so was the execution. WrestleMania itself, again, there's never going to be another perfect WrestleMania, like 3, like 17, like 20, like any of those ones from the Attitude Era or the early brand extension era. They're not going to be perfect again. It's not going to happen. I can guarantee that right now. But I will say that this year's WrestleMania is the best one in recent memory. Would that be a fair assessment, Mr. Williams? Yeah? Okay.
Hashtag Stopboy approved.
There you go. Not the worst, but not the best either. As far as bringing in those guys to build pay-per-views and to sell merchandise and everything like that, you gotta understand, a lot of people were upset that Brock Lesnar left. I was one of them. I was upset that Brock left, was pissed that he thought that he could do well in the NFL, and much like I was with The Rock. The Rock left to go make his money in Hollywood and never came back, and I was pissed at him for doing that. I was more pissed at Brock because he left because he had this grand delusion of being a football star, and he sucked, and he got cut right away, and just didn't come back right away because he pissed off Vince McMahon so much. Fuck you, you're going to leave, stay left, fuck you. Then he went to the UFC and made a mistake in his first match and got beat, and made up for that mistake and kept winning, kept dominating. And he was a two-time UFC heavyweight champion, I believe? One time, but he got 6, so interim champions. That always confuses me.
I was going to say, I believe he got the interim championship, and then he became the legitimate champion.
Yeah, disputed, right. Okay, well, whatever it was. It was crazy. Yeah, because Couture was the champion, he was out, and Brock won the interim? Right, Mikey?
I'll look it up.
Thank you, Mikey. Help me out on that. It's going to be a lot. I might just do the Twitter questions alone. We'll see how this goes. But Brock being gone as long as he was, I was pissed because, like, you were the guy, man. It wasn't supposed to be about John Cena. It wasn't supposed to be about Randy Orton. It wasn't supposed to be about all these guys that they built up. It was supposed to be about Brock's domination, being the next big thing had arrived, and Lord knows he arrived in 2002, came in, whooped ass, beat The Rock's ass clean, and then just dominated for the next 2 years. You know, you had him beating everybody. He beat the Big Show. He beat Kurt Angle. He beat The Undertaker a couple times. He beat everybody there was to beat. He didn't beat Goldberg because, well, that was just a really bad beating for everybody. And, you know, he got stunned in the WWE. It was simple as that.
It was a legitimate title. It was not the interim title.
So both times he unified, it was because he got sick and then won it, became champion again? Okay.
No.
He's only a one-time champion. He never won the interim championship.
Okay. Well, whatever it was. I'm just now getting into the UFC thing, guys. I've been following since Brock came in, but it's still kind of new to me. I apologize for the whole, like, if you're the champion and you can't defend, that's it. But whatever. I think it should be that way. Interim champion stuff makes my head spin. Drives me crazy. Anyway, Brock has dominated everything he's done except football. And the fact that he left for so long and didn't come back right away when the football thing panned out pissed me off. But now he's back. And as much as I'm quoting the house here, swinging from the shack of John Cena the last year or so, for good reason. I'm not going to know those reasons. None of y'all's goddamn business. But I am legitimately happy to see Brock back because Brock Lesnar, if you've noticed the last 2 weeks, has brought out the dark side of John Cena. John Cena has been pissed off. He came in there, didn't say a word on Monday, just slapped Brock's taste out of his mouth and took a legit punch to the mouth and smiled about it. Then went in there and confronted old Johnny Ace himself, and it looked like he was legit pissed and was ready to cut a freestyle. I'm waiting for Monday where he comes out looking like this with the skull cap on and throwing out the word of life just cuz. Not some predetermined battle rap with The Rock. He's just going to come out there and be like, you know what? F you, F this, F everybody. Y'all wanted me back? I'm back. You can thank Brock for it. Now I'm going to whoop his ass. And there was a question on the YouTube that I'll get to in a minute, but it all has to do with Brock and John. More on that later. The other question from George came out. Considering the length of his title reigns, apart from the 2001 reign, would you view Chris Jericho as a transitional champion? No. No. I think Chris Jericho's reigns have all been necessary. You know, yeah, remember, when Chris Jericho was in the WWE during his biggest time, the titles were all hot potatoes. Vince Russo himself said that. Titles meant nothing in the early 2000s. They were bouncing around like hotcakes, all over the place. Jelly beans, Mexican jumping beans, whatever you want to say. You know, just to try not to be profiled here, but it's not working. But Jericho's World Championship reigns, if you notice, have meant something. Jericho himself said his Undisputed Championship reign was constantly frowned upon by the higher-ups, but you know what? For those 3 months, he was the man. He beat Rock and Austin the same night, as he'll tell you every time you meet him. You shake his hand. Hi, I'm Chris Jericho. I beat the Rock and Austin the same night. Nice to meet you. That's what I'll tell you. He beat the Rock at the Rumble. He beat Austin at No Way Out. Granted, the Rock, it took this. Hogan, No Way Out, it took the NWO. But you know what? Heel champions do that. Yeah, Ric Flair won every championship match cleanly. He did that. I saw that. Especially when he was a horseman. Yeah. Ric Flair was the bastion of good. You know, Hulk Hogan was, you know, was a multi-time defending champion. You know, yeah, that guy. Yeah, yeah. They're all perfect in their own way, except for Jericho. Bullshit. But Jericho's World Championship reigns, I thought the first one was good because he filled in for Punk when Punk, for whatever reason, they took Punk out of that match. They had an injury angle, and it worked out good. He was the world champion. He had a great feud with Batista. Had a good couple of matches with Shawn Michaels for that championship, and then he lost it to Cena, and then won it back at the Elimination Chamber that year, thanks to Shawn Michaels, ironically enough, and had a great World Championship match with Edge at WrestleMania, and only lost it because Swagger attacked both of him and Edge and won the championship for Money in the Bank. You know, you can't ask for, you know, you're in deep crap if you lose to Money in the Bank, because Money in the Bank is anytime, anywhere. So Jericho's championship reigns, world title reigns, were not transitional. They were necessary, and they were good. Alright, now we're on to the YouTube. Thank you to Mr. Williams once again for supplying the YouTube questions, because Lord knows there's so many of them, and let's hope he's filtered through the poop this time. Let's see. We're going to call these the pooper scooper questions. Let's see how you do this time, Jay. We'll see. Acadia MLS. I was looking at the current WWE products. I noticed they're doing less and less specialized products, like books and DVDs. For example, the greatest tag teams, greatest superstars of the 80s, and the greatest families wrestling, just to name a few. Do you think WWE would benefit from doing more products made for the older fans? If so, what do you think could be their next theme? Personally, I would love to see a DVD of the Samoan Legacy. You know, a Samoan Legacy DVD is not a bad idea. You've got The Rock, you've got the Wild Samoans, you've got Yokozuna, you've got Rikishi, you've got Samu, you've got the Tonga Kid, you've got all the... Tonga's really not Samoan, though. Tonga's Tonga. The Island Boys. You can make an Island Boys DVD, too. That way Haku gets his time, because Rikishi and Haku are attacking for a cup of coffee.
Usos.
The Usos, yeah. I always forget the Usos, because they don't push them on TV. They're forgotten.
They'd probably be the host of the DVD. Running through the family legacy.
Much like the Hearts. Very good. Yes, sir. Yes. I agree with that. Stat Boy approved?
Stat Boy approved.
Very good. All right. WWE, Samoan DVD. Make it happen. For the other ones, Lord knows I could use some more old school DVDs, because somebody in this house needs to do their homework. And she will do her homework if we get more old stuff, damn it. But, you know, these current stuff, although I will say I am looking forward to purchasing, sitting my fat ass down, and watching the Edge Bio DVD. I look forward to that very much so. Because Decade of Decadence kind of pissed me off because it wasn't a Adam Copeland bio with some Edge matches. It was Edge watching the matches. It was like, okay. Yes, sir.
Question.
Sir.
Do you think a Greatest Superstars of the 70s disc would be profitable, or do you think that there's not enough people that would go out there and buy something like that?
The problem with the WWE in the 70s was you'd have Backlund, Bruno, Graham, Backlund, Bruno, Graham. They're like 3 world champions that whole era. You had Pedro for a little bit. You had Stan Stasiak for 9 days.
Well, but they also owned the NWA library from back then, so you would have Funk, Briscoe, Harley early stuff, Flair early stuff.
True. Maybe... I'd like to see it. Lord knows, because I wasn't around back then. Y'all were around before I was, so... You know, those guys were around when you were babies. And you weren't even watching then. So, you know, to see that stuff would be cool. Maybe a pre-Vincent K. McMahon stars up, like, you know, 82 and before, that type of DVD. Because then you're getting, you know, the guys from the early 80s, the guys in the pre-takeover, if you will, era. Because then you're getting not only Bruno and Bob Backlund and Superstar Billy Graham and those guys, but you're getting, you know, like Antonina Rocca and, you know, Gorgeous George can be on that DVD.
Bockwinkel.
Nick Bockwinkel from the AWA. Those guys can all be featured. You know, that would be a cool DVD. I like where you went with that. I just want to augment it just a smidge. But I like the idea there. Yes. Staffway approved of that as well, because Mikey's over there, whatever he's doing. So, okay.
I'm doing my Angel stuff, man.
Angel stuff is important, even though they are, what, 0-50 right now?
2-4.
2-4. Okay, close enough. I was close. Angels got to start winning some games. Freaking Dodgers are winning. Angels got to start winning some games. What?
Give them time.
Go, my boys!
Give them time. I said that on my show.
I understand you said that. I didn't get to watch your show yet. I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep up with my schedule.
They didn't do very well against Kansas City. They didn't do
very well against Minnesota.
People on Facebook are saying they can beat New York.
Yeah, and as they watch this, they're playing the Yankees. I don't know how they're doing against the Yankees. I haven't seen the game yet. So we'll see what happens.
Give them time.
All right.
Look, start worrying about July.
All right.
Thank you. Step away.
I'm worried about June with the Stanley Cup, first of all.
Step way out.
Stanley Cup in my mind. Kings are up either 1-0 or they're tied 1-1. I don't know. Anyway, let's see. Where's that Brock question I wanted to do that I mentioned earlier? There we go. Kramer Lee 10. Big Meech. Great show, brother. I know you're a huge fan of John Cena. Guilty. So this question is for JJ as well. I did this one, the first take I did of this show, but you weren't here, so I had to, like, I don't know what Jay would say. WWE has a storyline for a Lesnar versus Cena match at Extreme Rules. With Cena coming off the huge loss at Mania, and Lesnar coming off an even bigger loss at UFC 141, do you actually think Cena has a chance at beating him? Lesnar's ego is way too big for that to happen. Also, what would happen to John's image? Honestly, this match right here means way more than any Rock versus Cena BS. Now, what I said was this. I kind of rambled on, and then I'm not going to read over because Dylan messed up the first take. As much as Rock Cena meant, in the terms of the storyline, the greatest of the Attitude Era versus the greatest of the PG era, whatever you want to call this era, the brand extension era, Brock versus Cena means that much more. Because you have a guy who had everything literally handed to him in Brock Lesnar. Here is the world, dude. Take it and go. And he left. because he got caught up in the hoopla and he couldn't handle the schedule and he left. Now he's back to reclaim his throne. And you've got John Cena, who for a year talked about that everything was on the line at WrestleMania. WrestleMania meant everything to him. And he lost. You've got both guys that have really nothing to gain, either one of them anything to gain from this match. Because if they win, okay, they're the better man at Extreme Rules. But if either of them lose, if Brock loses his first real big match, he's fucked. And if John loses again, unless he seriously abandons the goddamn green outfit and goes heel again, he loses everything. What do you think?
Personally, and this has got nothing to do with my hatred towards the John Cena character, I want to make sure I get that very clear.
Yes, sir.
I'll repeat it just to make sure it's as clear as it can be. This has nothing to do with my hatred for the John Cena character. I think John has to lose this match. I think losing this match will spiral him further out of control to where that heel turn will become imminent.
Yeah.
It may not happen right after. It may take a little bit more, but I think starting Cena on this grand losing streak, he lost to the guy who turned his back on the company to go to Hollywood. Then if he loses to the guy that turned his back on the company to go to do football and become a legitimate athlete in the UFC, I think it'll be that much more in the John Cena tailspin, if you will.
And at the end of the day, if Brock loses, he came back for nothing.
Yeah.
So both of them have...
I don't think it has anything to do with Brock's ego. I think it has to do with where are they going to go with the Cena character. And if they are going to do a slow build to maybe him going insane of sorts.
Yep.
Maybe not like complete psycho ward insane, but going crazy to where he finally snaps, John Cena has to lose.
Yep.
Because if he wins, okay, I lost to The Rock. I beat Brock Lesnar. Whoop-de-freaking do.
Yep.
Where's my title shot?
Yeah,
Seriously.
exactly.
I beat the new face of the company. Where you at, punk? And then we get SummerSlam and hit him again. And then we're bored at SummerSlam in August because we saw this already. Twice. 2 months in a row.
I'm going to throw this at you. I don't think they've made a stipulation yet for their match, have they?
Not officially.
What do you want to see? Personally, I think it would be good after the events of Monday if it was First Blood.
If they're going to go extreme, yeah. Agreed. Draw First Blood on your opponent. But
Brock already drew First Blood, so there's going to be that, will Brock just open up the old wound?
yeah, and here's the thing with First Blood. First Blood matches of late, before they went all PG and went all frickin', homogenous on us, were just about chair shots and weapons. Dude, no. Punch your guy in the face till he bleeds.
I want
Brock did
to
it.
see. I want to see the word life knucks. I want to see steel chain. I want to see kendo sticks. I want to see garbage cans. I want to see circa 99, 2000, 2001 hardcore match type of stuff for First Blood.
That's exactly what I don't want. I don't want weapons. I want them to beat the fuck out of each other with their fists and their feet and just beat the shit out of each other like they would in the octagon. Hell, put them in a goddamn octagon.
You mean the Lion's Den?
Yeah, put them in the Lion's Den. Put them in the Lion's Den. And
Then
just
Brock would win for sure.
Well, that's fine. That's fine. Put Cena in Brock's element and let Cena propose that stipulation. Be like, look, I want Brock in Brock's element. Put me in an octagon. Put me in a cage. Whatever. And I'll do it.
What would Dana say?
Fuck Dana. Sorry, but whatever. Give a shit what Dana White thinks. I'm a Vince McMahon guy. Anyway. Alright, well, let's see. Ishida 1017. Some superstars are getting upset with old talent like Brock Lesnar and Prince Albert, Lord Tenzai, coming back. Who do you think is at fault for WWE for not pushing who they have, or is it the wrestler's fault? It's kind of the same question I already answered, but I'll go ahead and read, It's not really... Albert is not back. Lord Tenzai is a whole other beast. Albert would come out there, with the piercings and the tattoos and just come out there and be a goof gimmick with either the Big Boss Man or Draws or Scotty or Test or whoever, be the hip hop hippo and have fun at the end of the day, but also kick out, be the X Factor, but still be the kick-ass enforcer. There is no shred of humanity left in Lord Tensai. Tensai means disaster. Tensai's going to come in there and beat whatever guy they throw in front of him until they hand him the WWE Championship on a platter. That's exactly how it's going to be. Brock Lesnar being back, same thing. Brock Lesnar is going to come in there, say very little. You notice, that promo he had on Monday was still very Brock Lesnar-esque. It was very weak, I thought. He came in there and just was, he seemed to be starting over his words. It's like, don't let him talk. Let Laurinaitis do the talking. Bring Paulie back, for God's sakes. Do something with that. Seriously, let Paulie be his guy again. But Brock's going to be a killer beast. I want to find a way to watch the Extreme Rules match. We have to freaking stream it on the computer for free and be a thief. I don't give a damn. Seriously, I want to see this. I don't care about any other match, Extreme Rules. I don't care about Bryan and Sheamus, 2 out of 3 falls. I don't care, because Sheamus is going to win that match. Just to piss me off, just to prove that Bryan was wrong. He's not a fluke. Sheamus is a legit threat. But I want to see Brock, and I want to see Lord Tensai, and I want to see these guys get elevated. Yeah, they're not elevating the right guys, but you know what? The guys they brought back, I don't care. I miss those guys, both of them. So I'm glad they're back. Don Hartzell wants to know if Billy Gunn will ever come back. I want Billy Gunn to come back if he does one thing. Runs on WWE.com. Are you serious? Gives the famous sort of Josh Matthews and takes over hosting that show with Road Dogg. That's what I want to see Billy Gunn do. Seriously, I'm not lying. That's what I want Billy Gunn to do, because Billy Gunn and Road Dogg have no place in the WWE ring except for a Rumble appearance or an occasional comedy thing or a introduction. Full-time wrestling again? Never.
SmackDown Blast from the Past.
Yeah, where was he on that night? Well, Rikishi's been tweeting about that. They were going to bring him back, but WWE didn't have the right money. It's like, Rikishi, seriously? Your boys are on, you can't come back for one night? Can't be a little bit more humble than that? Seriously? But Billy Gunn, first of all, they need to dust Billy Gunn's gimmick off of Dolph Ziggler before Billy Gunn can come back. Too soon? Too soon? Alright, one more. Rabbit Pit 189. With Lord Tensai and Ryback both doing the quick squash gimmick, do you think it's more likely that there's a future program between these two? Will they end up as a tag team, or WWE ignore the potential storylines altogether? Complete ignoring of the storylines. There's no way, because number one, Tensai's a Raw guy and Ryback is a SmackDown guy. And number two, if one of them loses to the other, they lose momentum. They don't want that right now. They want Ryback to be a dominant beast on SmackDown. They want Lord Tensai to be a dominant beast on Raw. If the waters mix in the stream, then we're got all kinds of shit problems. It's not going to happen. All right. I will get some more YouTube questions on Monday. There was plenty. JJ did a good job of filtering through the poo-poo. He did good. So we will see you back here Monday with more After the Bell. Have a good weekend.